beautiful faces. There we go. So welcome everybody. Carla, that's totally fine. If you can't use your camera, that's totally fine. We won't see how beautiful you are, but that's totally fine. You know, we can still read your beautiful words. Thank you. Hi, Elena. Hi. All righty. So now we start the recording. So hello, welcome everybody. Great to see you here today. And if you're like me, you know, you've been on Zoom for the last I don't know, 6 hours. I think we've been going on for 6 hours, and we still have quite a few hours ahead. Wherever you are, you know, whatever location part of the world you are, it's great to see you here. And just like in one of the talks was mentioned, this is the very first time we're doing this event online. Hopefully it won't be the last, because I think, you know, this is such a great experience for everybody. And if you haven't attended any of the other symposiums in the previous years, this is such a great opportunity for people to meet, for people to, you know, come together and to enjoy each other's company, and more importantly, you know, to keep updated with the field, you know, with what we do as trainers, right? And in this talk today, I'll have the pleasure of introducing you to Emma Louise Pratt. We were having a conversation about this before you joined, but she's a bit of a celebrity, because back in she doesn't like me sharing that, but I'm still gonna share it. Back in 2014, she was nominated. She was one of the finalists, you know, for the Oscars in ELT, the Eltons. If you've been following, you know, that event yearly, you know, it's kind of like the Oscars, you know, in ELT, you know, and she's been very active in the field of ELT, and also, you know, from different sides, you know, different perspectives, right? Like she's being involved in teacher management from the business side. You know, we work actually quite closely, Em and I, you know, in that kind of business side of things, you know, for CELTA. Also, you know, she's been, ever since 2013, she's also been developing online courses, which now is incredibly relevant in the current COVID and pandemic situation. And also, and more importantly, I think she's incredibly creative. One of her skills is that of thinking of creative solutions to pretty much every single problem, you know, comes her way. And today I have the pleasure for introducing you to her and her talk in using, well, maybe you could tell us more about your talk, and you can take over from here, if that's okay with you. So thank you, guys. If you have any questions, I'll be in the chat box. I'll just be switching off my video so that you can focus on Emma and yourselves. And if you have any questions, I'll just be checking the chat box, and I'll be collecting the questions so that we can also send those questions to you at the end of the talk, Emma.
Okay. Right? Thank you, Orlando. Just very quickly, can I just check, have I got hosting now? I just can't see for breakout rooms. That's my only little thing. Breakout rooms, there's no, oh, there, perfect, because we're going to need them. Good, great. Okay, well, thank you very much, all of you, for arriving, and I know some of you are still coming in. As I was saying to Orlando before, this session, probably compared to the things you've already been doing today, is a little bit off the main road, but that's where I tend to sort of drive most of the time. And I'm not going to be dealing directly with, you know, some of the issues that are specific to CELTA or CELT-P, CELT-S, but rather the objective of our session today is to kind of raise the awareness of, and then this is based on some of my experiences, and I know it will be very much your experience too, of the need, the need for connection in the kind of circumstances that we're in, and to kind of get us thinking of the creative ways that we can create space around the online learning that we have for connection to develop between us and our learners, or between our learners, our course participants. And the other thing is, at this time of the day within the symposium, just to have a bit of fun and use our hands. So the thing I would really like you to make sure you have is paper and pencil. So something for drawing on. It's all you need. I can see a dog is taking over the show and somebody's. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm just going to quickly pull up my screen. Well, actually, no, I don't need to do that yet. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drop you all into breakout rooms, just so you have an opportunity to talk to each other. Just unmute yourselves. A real opportunity to really say, hi, how are you? Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to, maybe have about 4 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to put you. So the reason why I did that, and I hope you realize as you got chatting with each other that one of the problems we have is if you consider when we go to conferences and you think for a moment, what are the parts of the conference that you enjoy the most? Have a think for a moment. What do you really enjoy about when you get to a conference? What is it that the enriching little moments that you have? And I think you'll find that it's the conversations, the unstructured time around the edges of the sessions, the conversations over coffee, the meeting for dinner, the passing in the hallway, the quick catch-ups. And those are the things that we really enjoy about conferences. And sometimes, and the drinks. Yeah, almost done. But and we got to actually talking in our little group about some of the things that it was you, Olga, wasn't it? That you do, you structure into your course time for unstructured, just chatting and having coffee together, right? Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
So yeah, basically, what we did was we were thinking about. In our first fully online course, how do we not lose rapport here? Because we looked at the timetable, it looked like people are there just for the business, right? And there is no speaking here. And then we just added 15-minute slots of tutor free time. Right, and at the beginning, like in the first week, they were like heavily structured, like in the sense of giving people conversation starter, right? So like talk about the takeaways from last day, or like bring your favorite thing in your house and show it to other people, this kind of thing. But like as the course progressed, they just were still there in the timetable, but without the starters. Right, and we could see that here. So some people joined them, some people didn't, but at least like, they had the opportunity.
You're muted. You're muted, Emma.
Can't you see I'm so good at this stuff? So I'm going to share a screen with you now and just get you into what we're here for, because my area of expertise is drawing, and I'll explain a little bit about the background to that and some of the activities I've been doing and how moving online is an interesting kind of area, and specifically that whole thing about connection. So let's go. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to stop my video of me for a moment. You don't need to see me. The interstice is a lovely word, and it means these spaces in between. And as an artist and as a teaching artist specifically, I'm really interested in these spaces in between things. I'm very drawn to what we would call the white space, the silences, the pauses, and what is happening that may not be immediately apparent. And, what you kind of just experienced with just me putting you into a chat room right at the beginning of our session, just say, I'm not telling you what to talk about, just say hello. And really, from a point of view of a gardener, when you're looking at gardening as a metaphor, the edges of things, the plants themselves, the borders, where one species interacts with another, these are the places that are where there is the most activity and energy. And especially now in these sorts of circumstances, I think we've got to be, and I'm sure we all are, much more tuned into the need for creating connection, and especially because all of us are involved with facilitating growth and learning. Here we've got one of my favorite drawings, and as you can see, this is one of Darwin's drawings. And for me, drawing is something I've always done. It's really like my other language in a way. And I wouldn't say that drawing was something that came easy to me. And a lot of people sort of probably haven't attended today because they think, well, I can't draw. So, and really drawing is like learning a language. Anyone can do it. Anyone can learn. It just really depends on how determined you are to learn. And also the other thing, and that's the reason why I really love Darwin's drawing here, is you can see that he's not particularly amazing as a drawer, but the meaning behind this drawing and the process of him coming to a thought, as he says up there, I think, is really quite powerful. So often drawing is really, a purpose behind drawing can be much more than some beautiful end product. And that's really what I want to talk about. I'm just going to show you a video now, and I'll just sort of talk over it for a bit. So, as you know, I build online courses for teacher training, and through that I do a lot that's visual. In terms of drawing, I'm also currently doing illustration work, and I have always painted. So you can see here's a couple of projects I'm working on at the moment. And the process of art making is a conversation, both with the work itself and the people around you who see it developing. And for me, that sense of making and creating and that happening in community is an aspect of drawing and art making that I really enjoy. Because for me, art making and drawing is fundamentally about communication and connection. It's one of the bases of why people want to express themselves visually. But it's also a very physical act, and the process of making, hang on, I just got to get people into the, okay, hopefully you're there. So the process of making something is, in the perspective of the maker, and speaking from experience, far greater than the actual finished product. Often, I would go so far as to say that the process of making is the product itself. And for the last 12 years in my arts practice, I've always made work in and around children. I think my video has, what's going on here? Play. I'll just move that forward a wee bit. Here we are. And, from the point of view of being, working with children, and was only natural being a teacher and as an artist that, I started thinking about the crossovers between project or task-based learning, having actively engaged hands, and community and connection. And as a result of that thinking, I started running some artists in schools programs and a local residency program among some immigrants in our local community here in Cambridge. And on the back of that work, I then have created some free lessons that I sort of built out of my experiences working with children. And these are drawing ideas and for the classroom. And I've put them up on ELT Campus, which is my platform, and it's open for anyone to access. And I'll put the link up at the end of this workshop because it's a bit of an extension of what I'm talking about today. So this video you're seeing at the moment is from the intro from the series of lessons that I've created. I've really found overall that having our hands engaged, it tends to calm everybody down a lot, and I find that it slowly creates a comfortable setting for conversations.
Through working and living in different countries and being involved with different school systems, I've come to realise that the arts are often a luxury in many schools, and many people have little access and understanding of it, and how the visual arts can enrich one's ability to express oneself, to empathise and understand others. It's known
Oops.
as visual literacy. In this mini workshop, we'll be looking at drawing, what's good about it, but also what makes it so difficult. I'll show you some warm-up activities that you can use in the classroom to use drawing in a way that supports less confident drawers, and a case study of how I would combine getting my learners drawing and expressing personal ideas, and how that can connect with storytelling and illustration.
Okay, so that is something that, as I said, I'll put the link up and you can have a look at that later. But let's get on to doing some drawing, shall we? So, as a result of COVID and all our kids being locked down for many months and at home, I began, as I said, I did some lockdown drawing studio lessons online with some kids. And these kids were in our local area and at home, and I found it was a way of bringing us together. And often it was very simple. The lessons were just us learning to draw something together and sharing our progress online and being together in some shape or form. And so building on these sort of lessons that I ran with these kids, I'm going to share with you just a couple of drawing based ideas that we can adapt and use in online lessons or sessions, maybe to facilitate connection with our students, just make things a little bit more interesting and aesthetic, a little bit different. So the next thing we really need to do is actually look at drawing itself. So I'm going to share in the chat. I'm going to come out of there. I'm going to share in the chat a couple of links of a couple of things I want you to look at. Before we go on. So the first one, so this is in Google Arts and Culture. Let's find you again. Okay, my chat, where are we? Okay, can you see that? Have you got that link there? So it's Google Arts and Culture. Go and have a look at it. This is calling out on a friend in the snow, and it's from the Ming Dynasty, Zunje. And just give me a thumbs up if you've got that link and you can have a look at it. Are you managing? Cool. I want you to zoom right in, because one of the things before we start our little drawing exercises, I want you to think about the different kind of marks that can be made. So in this one, we can see that if you go zoom right in, you can see just how much individual little marks can create a bigger text. Okay, and then I'm going to share another one with you. This is a contemporary artist. She's one of my heroes. I love this woman's work, mainly because I discovered that we drew in a similar way. And I thought that was kind of cool. Into the chat we go. Just one other piece of work. And she uses line and mark making in a really different way. If you zoom in, you can just see just how intricate her line work is. You got that one there successfully? Everyone good? No? Julie Meritu? Sarah, are you having trouble?
Sorry, just multitasking a bit, and my computer's a bit slow.
That's all right. That's the kind of stuff we have to be in touch with, it, isn't it? It's okay.
No, I haven't got it.
You seen the second one?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, now Google Arts and Culture is great because you can really zoom in on these images to a point where you can not even see them that close in a museum. It's quite wonderful. I really recommend you go and look at Vincent van Gogh's work. It's just gorgeous. If you can get that close, you can never get that close to his work in the flesh. All right. So these are two examples of different types of mark making. And I'm going to share with you now. I'm just going to pull you out of there. You can go back into the screens. I hate all this kind of stuff of having to in and out and on and on. So, all right, here. Can everybody see that drawing? Yeah. Possibly looks very messy. Look very closely. So this is a drawing of an experience of a plane landing. Okay, so I've shown you two different artists, you know, working in different ways with mark making and drawing. And this is a very abstract little drawing that I did, and I'll give you an explanation of it. I get very nervous flying, and I find that drawing actually helps me focus and get through bumpy takeoffs and bumpy landings. And, you know, so you know that during the moment of that drawing, and if you kind of see it now from the top to the bottom, it's, you know, it's the descent of the plane coming into land, slowly, 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 slowly. There's a lot of tension in my arm and going out into my hand. And that's what drawing can do. It's actually it's what I wanted to bring your attention to, that drawing can be a very physical response to the world, and it can be quite cathartic as well. And so drawing can reflect a lot more than just interpreting what your eyes see. It can reflect what you're feeling. So our first activity is with your pen and pencil. If you want, just take a quick screenshot of that image for yourself, or just take a good look at it now. I want you to consider how I was feeling as this plane was coming into land, and how it's reflected in the types of marks I've made, what might have been happening in the plane, what might have been happening in me. And can you, here's your challenge, can you kind of, in your own, in a sort of a drawing synopsis, represent that, the stages of that descent, that narrative, so to speak. So if you look at the top, what lines have I used? What might those lines express? Moving down, again, the plane is obviously descending. What lines or marks have been made to express a feeling? And see if you can just quickly jot down what those stages are in that drawing. Have you had a good look at it? If I dropped you into breakout rooms now, I'm terrified breakout rooms now that I've already managed to kick us all out off our session. Maybe I'll just leave us all here for the moment. There's not so many of us. Take a moment to draw. So just to give you an example, I'll stop sharing. So if you can see here now, I've just changed cameras. Just take a moment and just sort of think, you know, what was the main narrative? What marks were made to express the narrative of this plane landing from top to bottom? And what marks did I use to express those feelings? Do you think you can quickly replicate them or make notes of them, that you could retell that story from the marks? Here's a challenge for you. I'm going to put you into breakout rooms so you can actually talk to each other as you do it. Hi, Carla, you're here on your own. Okay. Okay, welcome back to the main stage. All right. So we all back, more or less? No, we're missing three, a couple of people gone. Okay, so what I want you to do now, this was just an exercise to get you thinking about how marks can be used to express feelings. This is now a really common, hang on, let's move this on. A really common exercise in art school is to take, for example, here on the left, we've got a like a cartoon template, or you can just use a main piece, just one piece of paper. And the exercises in abstract, just little marks, rather than trying to draw somebody or draw a scene or anything like this. And this is where people who don't feel that they can draw can participate, because it's just making marks that express feelings. You can ask people to say, right, in this little template, this cartoon template, I want you to sketch out in marks and feelings and emotions your COVID months, the last few months for you. How has it been? Can you make a narrative of visual marks that express how things have been? And I would give you, I mean, unfortunately, I can see, you know, Orlando told me that I really needed to keep it short today, so you guys have time to move on to other things. But this is just the last exercise to do. So in your breakout rooms, and again, the reason why I'm putting you in breakout rooms to do drawing together is because when we're drawing together, in my experience with doing workshops with children, and is that drawing together is that old time learning of, you know, working and moving and doing a task together in company. And it's a time that we actually start talking to each other about random things, having a laugh, enjoying each other's company, and building that kind of rapport. So as you're doing this exercise for the next couple of minutes, you know, just share the progress and the process that you're going through as you're coming up with marks that will express what the last few months have been like for you. I'll put you into some breakout rooms now. I'll put you back in the same ones. Hi everyone, welcome back. So I hope, at the very least, I hope some of you had a bit of a laugh doing that. This was what I started creating. Yeah, the COVID months of, you know, the up and down of watching the rates of things rise and the wondering, and then the meltdown. I think I should have put just a plane with a tailspin on fire, you know, the tail on fire for a while, and just everything. And right now we're kind of in a kind of different zone. But I mean, I just wanted to bring your attention to, you know, the fact that with this session, that there's so much going on for us around the edges of our around, you know, the edges of our courses. Even just now, I've just had a message from the neighbor who's isolating and can't get out of the house. Can you please go and get us some milk? So, you know, these are the kind of realities that we're all faced with. And I think it's really important that we make some time just to laugh and chat and connect with each other, even in this, in this sort of kind of symposium. And I think it's also a bit of breathing space to process the information that you've received during the day as well, stuff like that. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I just want to share one last screen because it's, you know, it's an important one. Let's find it. It's the last one there. Look at that. Just to remind you that, oh wait, no, not that one. Through we go. Come on. Come on. Ah, I can't even do it right. See, I'm another classic fail from Emma. So the last screen, just to remind you of SETA 2021, August 27th to August 29th in Mexico City. Just to remind you to, you know, there's all hope that that's going to be happening this time next year. It's something to look forward to. Pass it back to you, Orlando.
And hopefully, no, thank you for that, Emma. And so thank you for the talk. And, you know, remember, you know, Mexico is very cheap to fly to sometimes. So especially in the summer, I guess sometimes, you know, it depends on how book ahead you do. But anyway, guys, I would like to thank Emma, you know, for her time, you know, for the talk. And just like Emma was saying, so I think, and this is something I was going to type, right? It's even more important to have fun and share, you know, just like a good laugh online. I think it's even more important now because of the current situation, right? We had a previous talk on mindfulness in the morning. And I think this has lots to do with that, you know, with the idea of like focusing on the here and now, right? Especially under these pandemic circumstances. So anyway, thank you guys, and hope to see you in the next talks. Remember that we have all the talks. If you register for them, you know, they're starting in something like 5 minutes. So you could just switch rooms, go there, have fun. We have very many interesting talks. We have one talk on humanizing the CELT experience, where I know the speaker is going to talk about basically what they've been doing on CELTA, you know, on part-time courses online, so as to, you know, keep the CELTA online, you know, kind of like a stress-free, you know, which is very hard to do regularly, right? So that would be an interesting talk, I think, if you want to go to that one. All right, so thank you guys, and hope to see you in Mexico City next year. Thank you, Emma.
Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.